Evening guys, this is Sumaiya. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today in this video we'll be learning about calculation and documentation of bedroom lighting. If you're new to my YouTube channel and you're watching this episode for the first time, please do check out the previous two episodes of the same series, bedroom lighting. Now, coming to the calculation part, first step is to define the spaces. For that, go to construction, spaces, and select your space. To select the space, you can directly select it like this, or you can go to the floor plan view and select. Okay, after that you will get this spaces properties. Go to edit. In the drop down menu of the template selection, you can select which type of room it is. So we can go for rest, sanitization and first aid rooms, and then in next categories you can select it as rest rooms. So here you can see the standard lux levels for restrooms is 100 lux and uniformity is 0.4. In case you want to achieve 200 lux, that is what consultant has specified to you, then you can change this here visual task in this side as 200. Manually type it on your keyboard and it will be set. Once it is modified, you can see this symbol. If nothing is specified, keep it 100 itself. Okay, after you define the spaces, work plane will be created. Work plane is basically a surface on which the illumination levels are calculated. Now if you go to the 3D view and go to the calculation objects, you can see this yellow surface. This itself is in work plane. Now the work plane is covering the whole surface of my bedroom. Okay, I don't want to calculate the whole bedroom because this is my study table and I want to calculate the lux levels only on the table because it's my task area. And you can even give the wall zone for this. Wall zone is nothing but distance from the wall. So I'll keep the wall zone as 0.2 for now. You can change it manually over here. Okay, I have given the wall zone, but I don't want to include this surface in this calculation. So what I'm going to do is select your calculation objects, and once you select, in the working plane section you can see here draw rectangular cutout or draw polygonal cutout. Since I want to cut it only rectangle piece, I will select draw rectangular cutout and I'm going to cut this part of the work plane. Okay, it's done. So if you want to edit the polygon, you can select the points and edit it. It's done. Okay, again coming to this work plane, it is at height of 0.8 meters. By default it's on 0.8 meters. You can change it, you can make it to the floor level or you can keep it to your bed level. For now I will keep it as 0.5 meters. I will calculate it at the bed level itself. Okay, you can calculate at the standard 0.8 meters as well. We have one work plane here, that's fine, but we need to calculate the lux values even on the table. For that, what I'm going to do is go to the calculation surface, calculation object, and draw rectangular calculation objects. So once you click on this, bottom to the arrow, you can see that rectangular surface. Use this and draw where you need your calculation to be done. So I will place it on the table itself, exactly on the table. Okay, and I will name it as task area 1 table. Okay, positioning, since my table height is 0.8 meter, I will place it on the table. It will be 0.8 meter. No need to do any changes here. Calculation parameters, perpendicular illuminance, settings for measurement grid, you can keep it automatic or make it as distance, and we'll calculate it for 0.5. Okay, and then that's it. Okay, so we have placed the calculation surfaces. Now then coming to the naming of the room, if you want to change the naming of your room, go to the display options, make the text, click on this showroom designation, then go to the project overview. Here you can easily change the name of the room. You have building, story, and then you have here room 1. Okay, that is what written here, room 1. So just double click on this and type bedroom, enter. Your room name will be changed. Okay, now go to the display options and switch off this one. Okay, surfaces, we have named the rooms. Now coming to the materials, by default your dialogues will take the floor to be 20% reflection. Okay, for now I have kept it 50%. By default dialogues will take for floor 20%, for walls 50, and for ceiling 70. That is the standard reflection factors it has. Now you can use the same standard reflection factors, but if you know the materials of the room, it's better to go with the reflection factors of that materials. Okay, here I have used 50 for floor, 65 for this wall, and 60 for other walls, because this is my accent wall, so I have kept it slightly brighter. Then for the ceiling I have kept the same standard 70. How you're going to know the reflection factors of your room? So when interior designer or an architect or consultant shares you the project, maybe you can ask him directly about the textures, or when he sends you the 3D reference images. So from the reference images you can know the material, you can know the type of the material they are using for the walls. So if the material is more light in color, it means it is going to reflect more of light. Okay, and if the material is more darker, it means it's going to reflect less amount of light. So accordingly you can give the reflection factor. The reflection factors are very important while doing the calculation, because if you have more reflecting materials on walls, floors and ceiling, you will have more illumination levels. Suppose if I paint this wall black, okay, the light is not going to reflect and eventually my lux levels are going to drop. That's the reason it's better to get the information about textures. If you don't have the information about textures, it's fine to use the standard reflection factors. Next step is go to the calculation objects, run entire project. Calculation is completed. Now you can see here I'm getting a red mark here. It means I'm not achieving the required lux levels. It is because I'm doing the calculation with furniture. Okay, so furniture will also have their reflection factors, their polygons. Better to do the calculation without furnitures. Okay, for now, since we have to take renders, let's close this calculation and set our views. Okay, I have already set the views. Now I have a pro tip for you. When you are setting the views, if you keep it on story mode, it's slightly difficult to set the proper view. So it's always better to go to your room and then set the view. Okay, when you go to the room and set the view, the perspective of the image becomes more easy to set. It's better to set it while keeping it in the rooms. Okay, now I have already saved the views. Okay, I have saved 5 views. Now if you want to render, you have to just click on this image, go to the ray tracer. You can increase the resolution. For now I'm just keeping it HD because I want quick renders. Start ray tracing. Okay, and this is your render. Looks perfect, nice. Okay, same way you can do the renders for rest of all your images. So we have finished doing the quick renders. Now next thing is, it's always better to give even the thermal views. Thermal view is nothing but your false color render. What you have to do is click on the view unit, go to the display options and click on this show false colors. Okay, then you can save it as a save new view. Repeat the same for others. Okay, we have finished saving the false color renders. Now let's go back to the calculation. For now I'm not going to include this joinery lighting in my calculation. For that, to remove this, what we can do is go to the light, go to light scenes, create new luminaire group, go to the plan view, select all the joinery lights, everything is selected. Now go again to the light scenes. You can see this below minus sign here. Click on this and add it here. Okay, now your 4 luminaires are added in luminaire group, different luminaire group. You can name it as joinery light. Okay, then it's 100% on. Okay, I will make it 0. 0 means I have switched off those lights. Okay, we'll go back to the calculation objects, go to the set calculation, keep it standard itself. Unless you are calculating for multiple rooms separately, you can go for fast calculation. At that time you can keep it in room section. If you're doing standard calculation, you can keep it in the story mode as well. Okay, then I don't want the furniture to be included in calculation part, so I will click on this without objects and furniture and then run the calculation again. Calculation is completed and you can see the results on the work plane, that is bedroom. It is 178 lux with 0.44 uniformity, which is good, and on the table I'm getting 232 lux and 0.3 uniformity. This too is good. If you want more lux levels on the table, you can make it a little bit higher wattage. For now what I'm using was of 8.5 watts. You can go with some 10 watts. If you're changing this 10 watts, make it even this two downlights as 10 watts. We have finished calculations and we have taken renders. Now next part is for documentation. For documentation, if you need to change or update the project name and date, you can go here, project. Okay, rename it bedroom. Date, if you click on today, it will set it automatically today's date. If you want to add any contacts, you can just click here and that contacts will be included. Go to the calculation object, come back to the documentation part. When you select documentation, light scene, emergency and all, everything will be selected. We don't need any emergency light, so we will uncheck this. Then instead of all, I don't want all the details in the documentation. I will select only the pages I need. So I'll be needing a cover page. You can click on this and check the cover page. If you want to change the image, what you have to do is double click on this image and you can go to this option. So views are nothing but the views you saved, and if you want to import any image, you can use this tool, import images. Or if you want to update any ray traced image, you can choose here. So these are our rendered images. Or you want dialogues to help you out, then you can go for suggestions. Okay, for now we will use one of the rendered images. This looks good for the cover page. Double click on it, image will be placed. So you can see the boundary of it with this 4 dots at the 4 corners. Using this, either you can move it to the view or you can resize it like crop. Okay, or if you want to enlarge the canvas, you can use this tool here, enlarge the canvas. I think this is fine, so we will just do apply. The image will be placed. Okay, now coming back to here, what we need is, I will be needing content, yes, because I need the page numbers. Then you can add images here also, or you can add the images in your calculation. So here I don't want to add. This shows your luminaire list. I don't want luminaire lists. Product data sheets, if you want to add it, you can add it. Or if you're the data sheet separately to your consultant, then it's okay to skip this part. Not needed to include in dialogues report. Then go to story. If you have multiple rooms, you can select the calculation surface. Or if you have only one room, you can directly go and select the rooms. This is my room here, bedroom. I can add the images by clicking on this one. Here on the right side you have the layout options, so you can set any one of this. I would prefer the third layout. Double click on this, layout will be set. To add images, click on this, and from here you can add the images. I will include all this renders. Okay, if I want to include the thermal false color images, I can go to the views and then add everything. Okay, so here now my ray traced images are one side and my thermal false colors renders at one side. So you can just click on this image and bring it to the front so that we have one ray traced image, then the same false color render. Okay, I have ray trace and here is a false color. I'll bring it here. Same way you can repeat it for everything. Apply. Now all the images are properly included with their thermal colors. Now if you want to add the logo of your company or your details, you can go to configure page, select the logo. Okay, then add footer. Maybe you can add your contact details here. Okay, and if you want it to be displayed on all pages, you can click here, use on all pages of the report. The same information will be on all pages of the report. Like for example, if I type here Sumaiya Eliyaz and make it use on all pages of report, go back to the page view, and then you can see here down my name written here. Okay, same way you can, maybe you can add your address, contact details, or who the designer is, any details as per your layout. Okay, now that is done. Images we have finished. Next is summary. Click on this. This basically shows your plan and then your lux levels, luminary list and calculation object. This shows you even the information about power consumption values. Configure page. If you want your AutoCAD plans to be visible, make sure you are clicking on this one. For this dialux file I didn't use any AutoCAD plan, it was a rough dimensioning I took, so there is no AutoCAD plan for here. In case you have, make sure this is selected so that in your plan view, even in the lux report, the AutoCAD file is visible. Okay, go back to the page view. This is your luminaire layout plan, like how many luminaires you have. Okay, then you have luminaire list, calculation objects and work plane. For now I will include only the work plane and the task area calculation. In the work plane, this is the work plane. I have added a false color here. If you don't want the false color, you can go to the configure page. So you have click on false color, that's why only false color is visible. If you don't want false color and you want value chart, you can click this one and back to the page view. Now you see the lux levels are in the value form. It's better from, I think false color is much better, so I'll change it back to the false color, back to the page view, and then task area. I need only these details in my report, that's why I have checked only these things. If you need to include luminaire list, luminaire layout plan, you can include it accordingly. Now once everything is done, you have selected the details you need in your report. To check once again fully, you can click on show entire documentation. Your whole documentation is ready now. You can save it as PDF, and here your report is ready. So you have nice cover page, content, images with even false color render scaling, summary of your calculation, and your work planes with calculation object. This is how you do the calculation, take the renders and do the documentation. This is end of our first part, that is bedroom lighting of series residential project. We will continue the series with the next rooms. comment below on which room you want in the next series. So we shall discuss about the same in our next series. So this is it guys in this video. If you like this video, hit a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and stay tuned to explore more in dialogues with me. Thank you.